Introducing a second cat into the home can be a very difficult decision, as like so many things in life, the act of bringing in another pet is a lot more complex than it seems on paper. In this material, I'll share with you several notable pros and cons. I'll provide some positive tips to hopefully ensure a peaceful and comfortable introduction, and I'll share my personal story, giving you a real-world perspective of the ups and downs I went through as I introduced a total of 4 kittens into my home, a home that was occupied by a single senior cat who was very much comfortable being the solo act and also very set in his ways. The highs, the lows, the challenges, and the rewards. Interesting topic, and I've got you covered. Stay tuned. Let's kick things off with the good side of life, the many positives that can come from adding a second cat to your family. The first pro is simply the addition itself. You want it? You got it. Another animal in the home. If you love cats, the addition of a second one is going to perk you right up, right out of the gate. It'll add more zest to the home, and it'll give your existing cat a friend. Perhaps a bit of a foe at first, but a friend is the goal. The addition of a second cat will all but ensure that your existing cat will never have to live through the ruts of life, that downtime of being unsatisfied. Something will most certainly be going on, if not from you, from this new feline addition. If your curious cat loves to stalk, hunt, and play, then another cat in the mix could be the perfect complement. Playing around, running around, having fun, and growing the bond. If you are approaching the addition from the perspective of giving your pet a pet, then adding a cat to your family is a great way to achieve that desired outcome. Another pro behind adding another cat involves the potential to bring the best out of your existing pet. Is your cat a bit on the shy side, not as energetic as you'd like? Sometimes bringing in another cat will force your existing pet to become a bit more engaging, bringing them out of their shell. Cats, just generally speaking, can grow to be a bit less timid if they're always in the company of other felines, especially cats under the same roof. In prior videos here on the channel, I've mentioned how some cats just can't get enough of the bed, your bed, sneaking into your room at night and jumping on the bed, using your place of rest as their very own. And while some people love this and have no issue with it, others will wish their cat would seek nap time elsewhere. Well, the addition of another cat could be the answer if the core issue involves the desire to be in someone else's company. If your cat seeks your attention and comfort because they just can't stand being alone, the addition of a second cat could serve as the new security blanket. This is obviously true if a positive relationship is established. Your cat will be more willing to lean on the new pet, rather than being in your bed and quite literally leaning on you. With respect to the negatives, some are more obvious than others, as to be expected, and the first obvious that I'll mention, and it's likely the fear and perhaps the doubt behind this entire idea, and that is friction, the cat's just not getting along. A feud from the very first day, hissing, claws out, fighting. That once cozy home environment that you've established for your existing cat now looks and feels like anything but. When it comes to the negatives, that's got to be at the very top of the list, if not near the top of the list. Negative vibes and negative actions from day one or week one. Another issue is the truth of, or even the feel of, that there's simply not enough room in this world for the both of us. Not enough food, not enough water. Some cats, even if they have all of their own stuff, will become so aggressive that they'll attempt to take it all. The existing cat could attempt to claim the other food bowl, the other water bowl, simply as a way to make a statement. You're not coming in here and taking all of this space. Many times the cat that was already in the home, if this does occur, will be the one who takes exception to most everything. How dare that you even feed this other cat, this new cat? Your existing pet could give you the side eye, wondering how you could betray them like this, catering to a new feline and having them in the home. The lack of essentials and the lack of space, whether real or imagined, can also be an issue. This will have to be a work in progress, a feeling out process. Sometimes there's not much you can do other than hold the line and wait. Your patience, if you have it and how much you have it, it will likely be the deciding factor to this entire equation. If you're looking and hoping for a quick fix and an instant happy home with a new cat, I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed. Make sure both cats have what they need. Make sure they have their own little spots in the home. Make sure all of their individual needs aren't far away from their nesting and resting areas. This will reduce tension and the odds of a physical confrontation over essentials. And speaking of confrontations and tension, that leads us to the introduction process. Because while some things will just happen, even in the midst of your best intentions, letting the cats just have at it and make their own peace is not the way. My advice would be to allow your existing cat to get a good scent whiff of this new feline. Do this via known items that have been manipulated and scent marked. Allow them to become familiar, and then do the same for the new cat. Scent familiarity first, visuals second. This can make the first negative I spoke about perhaps not as difficult. Less hissing, less of the claws out, and ready to pounce physical posture. Another measure is to allow the good to be celebrated. If both cats are acting and behaving in a positive way, don't let that moment pass. Give them both some pets and their own snacks. Let them both know how they're conducting themselves, that it's a good thing. If both cats know that they can get the good stuff for not being combative, then that will slowly start to build a positive foundation. And this is really just a good tip in general. If your cat is doing what you want them to do, doing what you have deemed proper for the environment that you're trying to maintain, let them know. Rewarding the positive will never go out of style, whether we're talking about the addition of a new cat or a cat that you've owned for 20 years. Another positive box that is important to check when it comes to the introduction is the role of you playing a bit of referee. Even if everything has gone well so far, you're never going to truly know what those first visuals and that first physical contact will bring. Stand back, but be alert. This will allow you to right the wrongs and separate the cats if needed. Let them have the floor and let them get to know each other, but at the first sign of trouble, you need to be able to throw that penalty flag. Just like a ref in the NFL. 15-yard penalty and it's back to your nap spot. Until the two cats have done enough to prove that they can be together in the same room without human supervision, stay in the room and monitor things. Don't attempt to play favorites, just be the watchful eye. Whether we're talking about the pros of introducing a new cat, the possible negatives, or those helpful introduction tips, just know that Rome was not built in a day. There's really no such thing as a shortcut. There are simply things you can do to make the journey a bit easier. The work is still the work, and so much of it for you will be the mental and emotional game. Do you have the patience to see it through? Do you have the home environment that is set up to accommodate more than one cat? Is everyone in the home up for the task and the long-term commitment? That's what it's really all about. Before I close things out, I'll briefly share my story involving the addition of a second cat, several cats. In my case, I'll make things short and sweet. Many years ago, I was taking care of my then senior cat when several kittens were born right in front of my home. Within days, perhaps weeks, a couple were taken in by other individuals, but I kept a total of 4. They stayed outdoors for a good while as Mama Cat was still around and fulfilling her role, caring for them, looking after them. At that time, my role was all about providing shelter, essential food, and water. Once the Mama Cat left, and she did so in mighty grand fashion, but that's a story for another day, I decided to take these 4 cats in. As they grew, I thought it was time for an introduction with my senior cat. But once I took just one cat inside and showed the kitten to my senior cat, he immediately looked it over and then licked his lips. Still don't know what that was all about, but no harm and no foul. As for the long term, once the kittens were inside, the going got a bit rough for my senior cat for a time, at least for a short time. There was really no introducing the kittens to him, but because they were just weeks old, on that side of the equation there wasn't much to do. But my senior cat, he was a bit miffed. He enjoyed his life. He had enjoyed his life. He mainly enjoyed being the only pet in the home, but with these new kittens in the home, it was clear that he was wondering about his place in the world. He got sick for a little while just due to anxiety, and he started napping in a different spot. He was a bit emotional for a time. However, and I've said this in the past regarding this story, I've said it in prior videos, he finally understood that addition didn't mean his own subtraction. Once he understood that his life and how he was being treated wasn't going to change, he changed. He went back to normal and actually became somewhat of an uncle to these kittens, the old wise cat. I know the kittens learned a lot from him, and he was happy to teach them everything that he knew, so it seemed. The final 3 or 4 years of his life, he spent loving those cats, giving them his time and his attention. I do think it actually gave him a renewed purpose. And when he passed away, he did so right next to these kittens, just mere feet away from the cats. At least in those early days, the cats that he didn't seem to like. But he passed away right next to them. In a nutshell, the summary of my story is patience. It'll all work itself out if you've got that patience. I never forced the issue either way. I just made it clear and obvious to my senior cat, watched him, monitored him, comforted him during his time of stress, until he finally understood what was going on and that his place in the home, it wasn't going to change. To the audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts on this topic? Did adopting a new cat, bringing in a new cat, impact your other pet, your other cat? Your stories and anything that you'd like to add to this conversation. That comment section, as always, it's all yours. If you enjoyed this content, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you as a member of the Senior Cat Wellness family. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and I will talk to you later.